Okay, we're back, and we're back with problem number 4 here. And this is, again, a classic kind of problem. It just tests to make sure you understand what elasticities are. Can you manipulate them a little bit? So here it goes. It says, if the price elasticity of demand for a good is 4.0, then a 10% increase in price results in. All right. I like this one. So elasticity of demand, absolute value, is equal to 4.0. We know that means that the percent change in quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price is equal to 4.0. All right? Again, just to pound this away, this says if you increase price by, let's say, 1%, quantity demand is going to fall by 4%. This is very elastic. Why? Because quantity demanded is very sensitive to changes in price. Relatively small changes in price are going to have a relatively large impact on the quantity demanded. So now let's look at our choices. It says, then a 10% increase in price. Well, we can actually just do this, right? So if I increase price by 10%, all right, by what amount does quantity demanded have to fall in order to make this 4.0? Well, this has to decrease by 40%. All right? So even before we've looked at the answers, you can solve this one straight out, and now you can go look for your answer. It's a sure way to get it right. All right? So A, 0.4% decrease in quantity demanded. I wanted to see if you could really manipulate this well. That's wrong. 2.5% decrease in quantity demanded. No, 2.5 is wrong. Again, we have a 10% increase, a 40% decrease is what we're looking for. Part C, 4% decrease in quantity demanded. Again, they're trying to trick you to see if you can manipulate this number or understand what this number really means. The last one, D, is a 40% decrease in quantity demanded. There's your answer. We did it before we even walked into the multiple choice question, which is actually a very good strategy for these questions. If you can answer the problem before you even look at your choices, do it. Because then it's going to make you're not going to get tripped up by some of the language. You're really looking for the correct answer here. All right. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go on to problem number 5. Okay, number 5 is very similar to 4, asked it a different way. But again, you're going to be in good shape if you write down the basic formula for elasticity, plug in what you know, and go from there. So here it is. It says, using the midpoint method, the price elasticity of demand for a good is computed to be approximately 0.75. All right? Which of the following events is consistent with a 10% decrease in the quantity demanded of the good? All right? So, again, elasticity of demand, an absolute value, is equal to the percent change in quantity demanded divided by the percent change, I'll make that change, in price. I can't emphasize this enough. Write this thing down all the time and then manipulate from there. And we know this is equal to 0.75 because that's what they give us. Right? What does that mean? Well, implicitly there's a 1 under there. It's a ratio of 2% changes. So now this says if I were to increase price 1%, quantity demanded would fall by 0.75%. All right? Less than 1%. Now in this particular case they're giving you this. They're saying you increase price, all right? It says, right, a 10% decrease in quantity demand. So we're going to have a 10%, decrease in quantity demanded. My mistake here. So you've got a 10% decrease in quantity demand, question mark, and that has to be equal to 0.75 again. All right? So if this were to decrease by 10%, if quantity demanded, if some change in price would have forced a 10% decrease in quantity demanded, and we know that the elasticity is 0.75, then what does this question mark have to be? All right. So you could just cross multiply. You could put the question mark over here, take this and divide that by 0.75, and that's going to give you your answer here. All right. But let's just walk through them. It says a 7.5% increase in the price of the good. Well, if I increase this 7.5%, all right, and quantity demanded decreases 10%, that's going to give me an elasticity of 1.33, which is inconsistent with this. So that can't be the answer. B, a 13.33% increase in the price of the good. All right, now we're talking something interesting. I increase this 13.33%. Quantity demanded falls 10%. is that ratio of 10% divided by 13.33 equal to 0.75? The answer is yes, it is. Okay, so a 13.33% increase in the price will bring about this particular situation. But let me just move on so you'll know that why C and D aren't correct. An increase in the price of the good from $7.50 to $10. It's a little bit slick, okay? An increase in the price of the good from $7.50 to $10. Well, that is actually how much of a percent increase? If we calculate it just roughly speaking, it's 2.5 over 750, which is about a 33% increase in price. A 33% increase in price causing a 10% decrease in quantity demanded would not be 0.75. So C is wrong. And lastly, an increase in the price of the good from $10 to $17.50. So that's going from $10 to $17.50. The percent change in price in that particular case is 75%, and that would not bring about a 10% decrease in quantity demanded if the elasticity is 0.75. So I went through it relatively quickly, so review that. But C and D are wrong because their percent change in price is really far greater than is necessary to bring about a 10% decrease in quantity demanded in this particular case. All right, so that is number 5, and now we can move on to number 6.